Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Puspita Mayasari. I'm from English Education Department, Teacher Training and Education Faculty, Pekalongan University. Now I want to present my research. The title is Material Development of Beauty and the Beast Live Action Film for Teaching Reading Skills, Narrative Text at Junior High School 16 Pekalongan. Learning in English at junior high school level usually use story text to increase interest in learning English. Text in learning English are narrative text, descriptive text, procedure text, recount text, report text, and argumentation text. This study use narrative text that are often used in learning English in senior high school. According to about 2010, narrative text is a story on or in general, it means telling a story. In general, stories have event or several events that run according to chronological time, and these events are conveyed through several media. The researcher used reading skills in research on narrative text. According to Tarigan 2015, read is the process executed used by the reader to retrieve the desired message communicated by the author through the verbal or written medium. Narrative text is considered difficult by the student. Lembah Tungkup 2022, Putri 2023, Novita 2019. Because the student felt bored and lazy on the narrative text, the problem in learning narrative text are language knowledge, generic structure, not understanding the story, and boring stories. The solution in this study used the film as a student learning medium. By using film, students not feel bored and interested in learning narrative text. This research helped improve the reading of narrative text through film because film are increase the mind by student. Film is the result of human civilization, which was born through a creative process of using technology to give birth to dream, whose result can be seen by everyone. It is this creative process with advanced technology that eventually become entertainment, a very representative spectacle to entertain the public. Guritno 2018. Film has several advantages, namely an entertainment tool, a source of information, an educational facility, and a reflection of social value of society. The fourth benefit this film can be a reference. Of course, watching movies is not just entertainment. The audience must also recognize the information and social values contained in the film. Triantan 2013. With the film can increase interest in learning English, the film will be used as a story in narrative text because students can understand the narrative text through film. Therefore, in the Beauty and the Beast live action from Walt Disney production, the film Princess category was suitable to be used as a lesson in reading narrative text to a large number of interests. This film is unique because different image of women from other Disney film according to Wardani and Rati 2020 in literary works. Female characters are always portrayed as women who are weak and give up easily. The problem faced by women are always expressed by author by creating literary works so that the life problems of female characters are ultimately determined by the image of woman. The image of woman here is because priorities education and is courageous because in this era women have been emancipated, but it is difficult to get their right because there are still many parties in Indonesia, especially women who find it difficult to continue their education at university and work after marriage. The stereotype of Indonesian people, especially men, still think that women don't need to go higher education because women's studies at home are serving their husband. taking care of children, cooking, and washing. Patriarchy is still one of them in Indonesia in Hieronymus Research 2013. Another concept that makes women submit in understanding woman position, the fragment of the sentence Paha Hopi Beso Komio Telura Pukeme. In the Lamaholot language, often repeated by the people of Bayi Pukangi Ile Ape Lembata as part of the Lamaholot culture in the ideal kitchen for women. Because women are only part of buying and selling customary activities. Girls have no access to education because that is where the girls is in the kitchen. In conclusion, patriarchy exists because of regional culture, but that culture can be lost over time. These research aim to encourage reading and learning interest in learning English, especially in narrative text material, help teachers to teach literature in learning English, and to motivate students to continue their education so they don't give up on achieving their goals. In this research, the main problem being studied is how is it necessary to teach the moral value of a woman image in a narrative text using Beauty and the Beast live action film, and how to develop value based learning material on Beauty and the Beast live action narrative text. And then research method. The study include the type of research and development or R&D by Berg and Gall 1983. Research and development is education. Research and development or R&D is the process for developing and validating educational product. By Berg and Gall in Sugiono 2016, there are 10 steps: research and information collecting, planning, develop preliminary form of product, preliminary field testing, main product revision, main field testing, operational product revision, operational field testing, final product revision, and product conclusion. However, it is only up to 8 steps in this study because the time constraint in research, but in the limited time, it is felt to have fulfilled the development research. Experimental subject for this development study include subject literal, including media expert and material expert, English subject practitioner, or it includes the component of being a teacher. Score percentage is validator score divided by maximum total score multiplied 100%. Level of achievement and quality of visibility is 81 until 100% is very worthy, 61 until 80% worthy, 41 until 60% is worthy enough, 21 until 40% not worthy, 0 until 21% is very unworthy. Next is planning. The next task carried out by researcher is planning. In this stage, the researcher designed the fabrication of the grid for research equipment and manufacture research tools. This design is listed, and the research tools consist of validation form for material expert, is material aspect, learning aspect, and language aspect, and then validation form for media expert is text, design, and graphic, and then teacher interview, guideline, media, material, and learning, and then develop preliminary form of product. The researcher watched the Beauty and the Beast live action film 2017 with a time of 2 hours and 9 minutes. Then the researcher observed and analyzed every sense in the story and wrote the story of film in the text. Found that there are 8 images of women in Beauty and the Beast. There are as follow. Billy was a weird girl, crazy, disabled, and unfortunate because she liked reading books. Billy liked to learn new things, like her father liked inventing a washing machine. She took the little girl to read but failed to catch Billy because breaking the rules of the city to teach child to read. Billy dared to come to the palace which emerged and spoke with the cruel beast. Billy wanted to replace her father, but the beast refused the request. Billy dared to go to the west building where people were not allowed to enter. Billy fought the wolf by hitting a stick. Billy protected the beast that the beast is kind, friendly, didn't hurt and not a monster. And then for preliminary file testing, the preliminary file testing stage is the product validation stage for material expert. Validation with Mrs. Dwi Agustina MPD, BI, PhD, and media expert validation with Mrs. Dr. Pratnya Permanasari, MPD. They are a lecturer from English Education Department at Pekalongan University. Product that need to be revised based on the opinion on the opinions are word and grammar errors in the language feature, namely the past tense. And then main product revision. The main product revision stage is the stage for revising the result of product trials from material expert and media expert. The result of the product material of the revision is by material expert is 96% and media expert is 100%. Main file testing. The main file testing stage is the product testing stage at Junior High School 16 Pekalongan to carry out and teacher interview stage. The teacher paying interview is Mrs. Rahmawati SPD, an English teacher at SMP 16 Pekalongan. The result of the interview for appropriate text structure and language feature are also appropriate, but the text is still too long for students. And then 7. Final product revision. The final product revision stage is the last revision stage suggested by Mrs. Ramawati SPD. In this product test very worthy, and the result of product trials in observation and interviews is 92%. For the conclusion, the product after being approved by the validation of material expert and media expert and teacher, product can be produced as teaching material for learning English. The image of woman moral value in the narrative text is very helpful for teacher to help motivate students. From the learning book taught by Mrs. Ramawati, she has never used the image of woman as a moral value. The moral value that is often used is like a maling kundang who is disobedient to her mother. There is a narrative text Beauty and the Beast live action product for the latest innovation, and students are motivated because of the new story from Beauty and the Beast live action. Based on the result of the research material development of Beauty and the Beast live action for teaching reading skills narrative text at Junior High School 16 Pekalongan, the product can be used and produced as a medium learning English in the narrative text chapter. The result of the product is very worthy to produce. Last is conclusion. Based on the research on development R&D model of Pork and Gal, the research result in the product material development of Beauty and the Beast live action film for teaching reading skills narrative text at Junior High School 16 Pekalongan. In the Pork and Gal development model, there are X stage for in the study. Because of the time constraint in research, but in the limited time, it is felt to have fulfilled the development research. In the development process, the image of woman moral value in the narrative text is very helpful for teachers to help motivate students. The product is tested by material expert, media expert, and teacher. The result in the material expert validation test is 96%, media expert 100%, and teacher interviews 92%. It can be concluded that the product material development of Beauty and the Beast live action film for teaching reading skills narrative text at Junior High School 16 Pekalongan is valid and has reached the criteria for being feasible to produce. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.